Hey there movie lovers, Peter here from Vinyl N Celluloid. 2023 is now behind us and there's no better time to share with you my top 10 movie picks for the year. So let's get to it. At number 10, we have the Caine Mutiny Court-Martial. William Friedkin's swan song tells us the story of a naval officer who stands trial for mutiny after taking command from a ship's captain he felt was acting in an unstable fashion, endangering both the ship and its crew. This is a terrific adaptation of Herman Wouk's 1953 play of the same name. It also features great performances by Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Clarke, and Jake Lacy. The movie also has a great combo of dialogue-heavy script and a minimalist and claustrophobic set. But the movie's secret weapon, it's really the direction. William Friedkin, after all, was the guy responsible for remaking 12 Angry Men, and you can't argue with someone as gutsy as that. Of course, take this 10th pick with a pinch of salt. It may have been chosen with a mix of sadness, nostalgia, and pure admiration for a director who's no longer with us. The kind of director who understood cinema, its language, and global influences. So it only makes sense to honor the great late William Friedkin with the number 10th position. At number 9 we find the latest film by David Fincher, The Divisive, The Killer. A Netflix production that's also another adaptation, this time from a French comic book. In this movie, we follow Michael Fassbender as an unnamed assassin, who after a fateful near miss begins to psychologically crack as he develops a conscience and embarks on a full-fledged revenge trip. Fincher and Fassbender join Silent Substance to deliver a slick action title, at a time when action movies are either A, incredibly stupid and too over the top, or 2, way too serious. Fassbender is great, and the soundtrack is even greater, courtesy of both Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who delivered a powerful instrumental score, and the Smiths' greatest hits, an eclectic selection of the group's tracks that tries to bring us closer to the protagonist. Still cynical, still entertaining, The Killer is yet another piece of evidence of Fincher's unique style. The 8th best movie of 2023 was, at least in my opinion, the French title Anatomy of a Fall. This movie won the Palme d'Or at the last edition of the Cannes Film Festival. Sandra Hüller plays Sandra Voiter, a writer whose husband Samuel is mysteriously found dead in the snow below their secluded chalet. She becomes the main suspect of her husband's death since the police can positively conclude if he was pushed or simply fell. The trial that follows becomes a psychological journey into the depths of Sandra and Samuel's complicated marriage and puts additional pressure on the couple's partially blind son, who is the case's sole witness. Part Kramer vs. Kramer, part Hitchcockian thriller, Anatomy of a Fall finds French director Justine Triet attempting and succeeding to bring some originality to the courtroom drama / whodunit played-out tropes. Sandra Hüller steals the show in one of the year's best performances. Highly recommended to everyone who's into Stieg Larsson novels and all similar books and movies. My pick for the 7th place is a controversial one, as I know not everyone enjoyed Emerald Fennell's sophomore effort Saltburn as much as I did. Saltburn tells us the story of Oliver Quick, a student who is struggling to find his place at Oxford University and who finds himself drawn into the world of the charming and aristocratic Felix Catton, who invites him to Saltburn, his eccentric family's sprawling estate, for a summer never to be forgotten. There are obvious comparisons between this dark comedy / satire and the likes of Cruel Intentions and The Talented Mr. Ripley, and I'm not gonna fight anyone on this. What I will say is that Emerald Fennell and the outstanding cast managed to create an eerie vibe and a collection of scenes so intense they make Brian Usna's society feel as relaxed as dinner at McDonald's. Saltburn is simply deranged and will make you go through a range of emotions: disgust, shock, amusement, and a certain degree of relatability. Yet as a millennial, the last thing you'll feel once the credits start rolling is a profound feeling of sadness. You are now officially old, and the 2000s are officially considered retro. For the 6th position on this ranking, I picked Wim Wenders' Perfect Days, the year's best existential movie. Perfect Days unfolds in the vibrant streets of Tokyo, where Hirayama, a dedicated toilet cleaner played by Koji Yakoshu, immerses himself in a serene daily routine. Each morning, he embraces the rhythmic hum of the street cleaner, tends to his plants, and enjoys a quiet moment with coffee from a nearby vending machine. His journey continues as he embarks on his truck, navigating the city's intricate tapestry to meticulously clean public toilets. Now there's a bit more to the movie than just this simple plot. It's the kind of East aesthetics meets West pop culture in an exercise of simplicity, with the message pseudo-lifestyle influencers keep banging on about. Enjoying and cherishing the little things in life. Hirayama is also our guide through the bustling highways, streets, and iconic parks of Tokyo, remaining a calm, collected, almost invisible entity without whom the megalopolis wouldn't be able to function. Another reminder of those quasi-invisible people that make up our daily routine and that we simply don't pay enough attention to. A great watch. Splitting this rank in two is Alexander Payne's latest, The Holdovers, the retro feel-good comedy of the year. In this movie, Paul Giamatti plays Paul Hunnam, a sour and bitter teacher at a New England prep school who is forced to remain on campus during Christmas break to babysit the handful of students with nowhere to go. As time progresses, he develops an unlikely bond with both Angus, one of the students, and with the school's head cook, Mary, who has just lost her son in Vietnam. Director Alexander Payne manages to capture the unique aesthetic of the 1970s right from the get-go. Just take a look at the opening credits. In less capable hands, this title would have simply been a rehash of Harold and Maude set in the world of Dead Poets Society with Jack Nicholson's Melvin Udall from As Good As It Gets as the lead. But Payne really makes the movie stand out. Great performances all around with Paul Giamatti and Devin Joy Randolph as shoo-in nominees for the Oscars and Dominic Sessa delivering a stellar debut. The Holdovers is one of those titles that just makes you feel, and I have no doubt it will be a Christmas staple movie in the near future, along with classics such as Home Alone and Die Hard. Celine Song's Past Lives is my pick for the fourth best picture of the year. In Past Lives, we follow the lives of Nora, or Na Young, and Hae Sung, two deeply connected childhood friends who are rest apart after Nora's family immigrates from South Korea. 20 years later, they are reunited for one fateful week as they confront notions of love and destiny. Celine Song's first full feature is an empathy-generating machine, a mechanism that shows the similarities that unite us all through forces, principles, and an overarching spirituality that transcends gender, creed, and heritage. It's not often we are treated to a movie that packs an emotional punch whilst dazzling us with great imagery. Celine Song delivers what Woody Allen could only imagine to produce and what Sofia Coppola seldomly delivers these days. A tale about the very real and imposing concept and experience of opportunity cost. Much like Perfect Days and The Holdovers, this movie is another great example of great filmmaking guiding an exercise of personal reflection. Few titles performed better at the box office than my third pick on the list for 2023's finest. Oppenheimer is one of the year's box office juggernauts, an impressive feat considering it's a 3-hour movie covering one of the darkest topics of human history. Very little to say when it comes to the plot, really. We've basically followed J. Robert Oppenheimer as he assembles a team that, under his direction, carries out the development of the atomic bomb under the Manhattan Project moniker during World War II. The movie also covers his formative years, personal relationships, and eventual fall from grace during the 1950s. At a time when the entertainment landscape is flooded with formulaic and flawed biopics, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer manages to stand out as a great combination of outstanding visuals, fantastic acting, and a compelling plot that asks you to take your own conclusions about Oppenheimer's work. Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, and Robert Downey Jr. incarnate all these real-life characters with performances that will stand the test of time and will be studied for years to come. Never before have I seen a biopic with such a graceful, grand, sweeping presentation like this one. As 2023's runner-up, I picked another title that premiered at Cannes. Jonathan Glazer's The Zone of Interest, a disturbing, borderline surrealist, highly effective drama. In the zone of interest, we are introduced to Rudolf Höss, the commandant of Auschwitz, and his wife Hedwig, who strive to build a dream life for their family in a house and garden next to the concentration camp. Despite the horrifying reality lurking beyond the barbed wire top walls of the concentration camp, we are invited to experience the Höss's family domesticity. There's nothing graphic about this movie, and much like any good horror movie, it's what you don't see that gets you the most. And composer Mika Levi must be praised since he's part of the reason why the movie is so effective. His chilling score makes our imagination run wild throughout the whole movie. Sandra Hüller, the star of Anatomy of a Fall, shines again, as does Christian Friedel, who plays Rudolf Höss. The Zone of Interest is a uniquely disturbing, powerful, and brutal portrayal of a topic we heard, seen, studied, and read several times before, delivered in a way that can never be matched or replicated. A difficult watch, yet a brilliant movie. And for the top pick of 2023, there was no other contender than Martin Scorsese's latest, Killers of the Flower Moon. An ambitious revisionist period piece in line with classics such as Heaven's Gate and Reds. Killers of the Flower Moon is set in 1920s Oklahoma. After oil is discovered under Osage Nation land, the Osage people are murdered one by one, until the FBI steps in to unravel the mystery. In parallel, we get to follow the lives of the ambitious World War I veteran Ernest Burkhart, who moves in with his brother Byron and Uncle William King Hale on Hale's large reservation and develops a relationship with an Osage native, Molly. Killers of the Flower Moon finds the iconic director finally creating his great American epic after 3 previous semi-successful attempts. For the first time, he collaborated simultaneously with his 2 muses, Leo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, who are both outstanding. De Niro in particular delivers his best performance in over 20 years. But the real star of the show is Lily Gladstone, whose Molly commands your attention both when she's on screen and off. With an overwhelming cinematography, fantastic score, and tight editing, the 3-hour-plus epic just flies by without the source material overstaying its welcome or the viewer feeling bored. Scorsese has done it again, delivering what I consider to be the best movie of 2023. If you'd like to read both the full reviews of all my top 10 picks for 2023 and also over 300 other titles, I invite you to go onto my Letterboxd page. Thanks for watching.